Let's go on a little trip. A grand tour of the cosmos, actually. We're going to start right here, in our own backyard, with just a single point of light, and then zoom all the way out, to the very edge of everything. You ready? Let's do this.
But before we blast off, let me ask you something. Have you ever really, and I mean really, looked up at the night sky? Not just a quick glance, but actually stopped to take it all in? That incredible, fast, dark canvas just sparkling with light? Well, it turns out that beautiful view, that's our map for this journey.
You know, every good map needs a guide, right? For literally thousands of years, people have looked up at that very same sky to find their way. So it only makes sense that our first stop is to meet these ancient guides, the stars and constellations.
Okay, so picture this. You're lost. It's a clear night, and you're in the northern hemisphere. There's one star, just one, that can be your best friend. It's the pole star, or Dhruvatara. For centuries, travelers have sworn by this star because, well, it pretty much always points you directly north.
So what makes this star so special? I mean, it's not even the brightest one up there. It's all about location, location, location. You see, it just happens to be lined up almost perfectly with the Earth's axis of rotation, right above our North Pole. Think of the Earth like a spinning top. The pole star? It's like a tiny dot on the ceiling right above the point of that top. So as the Earth spins and everything else in the sky seems to move, that one star just stays put. It's like our celestial anchor.
Now, while you're out there looking for the pole star, you're definitely going to see other things. You'll start to notice patterns, right? Groups of stars that look kind of like they're forming pictures. Maybe an animal, a person, or some kind of object. What do you call those?
You got it. Constellations. I love this part. They're basically humanity's oldest storybooks, just written across the night sky. For ages, different cultures would play connect the dots up there, creating heroes, monsters, you name it. They used these patterns to tell stories and even to figure out when the seasons were changing. So let's meet a couple of the A-listers.
First up, you've got Ursa Major, also known as the Great Bear, or Saptarishi. You probably know its most famous part, the Big Dipper. It's one of the easiest to spot. And then, especially in the winter, you've got to look for Orion, the hunter. Seriously, you can't miss this guy. Just look for 3 super bright stars in a perfect straight line. That's his belt. It's like...
Okay, so the stars are like this fixed, glittery backdrop, right? But against that backdrop, there's a whole other cast of characters that seem to move. The ancients called them wanderers. So let's zoom in from way out there in the deep cosmos and say hello to our immediate cosmic neighbors, the planets in our solar system.
In our solar system, we've got 8 official planets cruising around the sun. And I know what you're thinking. What about Pluto? Don't worry, Pluto's still out there. It's just that back in 2006, scientists decided to reclassify it as a dwarf planet. Basically, it's a bit on the small side and its orbit is kind of cluttered with other stuff.
You know, each planet really has its own personality. Take Mars. We call it the red planet because its surface is basically covered in rust, iron oxide. Then you have Venus. It's ridiculously bright. So bright we call it the morning or evening star because its super thick clouds are like a giant mirror reflecting sunlight. And Jupiter? Jupiter is the king. It's a gas giant so huge you could literally cram all the other planets inside it. And of course, there's Saturn, with those absolutely beautiful, breathtaking rings made of ice and rock.
And that brings us home, to Earth. And you know, as far as we can tell, in this entire massive cosmos, our planet is, well, it's really special. It's sitting in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right. And that perfect spot allows for the 3 things that make life as we know it possible. Liquid water, an atmosphere that protects us, and, well, us.
But here's the thing about the cosmos just sits still. It's anything but static. Everything we've talked about so far is in this constant, beautiful motion. So let's take a look at this celestial dance and figure out the rules that keep everything moving.
Okay, so for any planet, there are 2 key moves you gotta know. The first is rotation. That's the planet spinning on its own axis, kind of like a basketball spinning on your fingertip. For us on Earth, that spinning is what gives us day and night. The second move is revolution. That's the planet's big, long journey around the sun. And for Earth, one full trip around, well, that takes about 365 days, and we call that a year. But it's not just planets doing all the moving. Oh no, we've got a whole bunch of other celestial companions out there. Of course, there's our moon, that's a natural satellite. Then there are the artificial satellites, the thousands of man-made things we've sent up for stuff like GPS and weather forecasts.
You've also got asteroids. These are big old space rocks, and most of them hang out in a belt between Mars and Jupiter. And then you have comets. Think of them as cosmic snowballs that grow these incredible long tails of gas and dust whenever they get close to the sun.
All right, let's talk about shooting stars. Have you ever wished on one? We need to clear something up here, because it gets a little confusing. That beautiful streak of light you see in the sky, that's a meteor. It's a piece of space rock burning up as it tears through our atmosphere. Now, if a piece of that rock is tough enough to survive that fiery trip and actually hits the ground, it gets a new name, a meteorite. So, simple way to remember, the meteor is the show, the meteorite is the souvenir.
Okay, we've had a good look around our local neighborhood, right? We've seen the stars, the planets, all that cosmic debris. So for our final stop on this tour, it's time to take one giant step back. We're going to see where we really fit into the grand scheme of things.
So, get ready for this. Everything we have talked about, our sun, all 8 planets, the entire asteroid belt, the whole shebang, is just one tiny, infinitesimal speck. All of it is just one small part of a gigantic, swirling city of stars called the Milky Way galaxy, or Akashganga. Our sun is just one star out of hundreds of billions in this one galaxy alone. Mind-blowing, right?
And what's beyond our Milky Way? You guessed it. More galaxies, billions of them, maybe even trillions, we don't know for sure. And each one of those has its own billions of stars. When you put all of that together, all the stars, all the galaxies, all the empty space in between, that is the universe. It's everything. Everything that exists, everything that ever has, and everything that ever will be. It is the ultimate container. And honestly, we're just starting to scratch the surface of what it's all about.
So, there you have it. We went from a single point of light in the night sky all the way out to the mind-bending scale of the entire cosmos. It really shows you how far we've come in understanding our place in it all. But it also leaves you with this one huge, exciting question, doesn't it? In a universe this vast, this incredible, just what else is out there waiting for us to find it? Thanks for coming along on the tour.